Hello everybody, Dean's Beer Reviews. I recently just went up to the beautiful Lake District of far northwest England for a couple of days. Nice place, yeah. Went into this local sort of village shop convenience store. Saw a shelf containing sorry, that's the dog crying, must be bored. A shelf containing about 4 shelves containing beers, and I wasn't held responsible for my actions because they had many Belgian beers and foreign beers, which I did not expect, and obviously a load of the local things. I brought a couple of local ales back from the Lake District, and I'll review those some point soon, no doubt. But today we've got Rodenbach. Belgian Flemish red brown ale, like a sour ale. You'll have noted back quite a few reviews ago now, did Rodenbach Grand Cru, which is their sort of posher end of the beer, as it were. There is one more. They've got like a 10% strength beer, which is like really vintage or something. It's called Van de Cereal or something. I can't remember what it's called. But the Rodenbach Grand Cru, the Rodenbach beer, the way they sort of, it's aged in oak, which sort of provides like a tartness and a bit of a vanilliness as well. Rodenbach beer, and the Grand Cru is obviously the age. They have obviously the young beer, which is I think it's in metal tanks for no more than about 5 or 6 weeks. And then they've got the stuff that they age in the wood, which they keep in there in the oak for 2 years. Now to make I think that really, the top end one, I think it's just the pure old stuff. Sorry about the dog in the background there. That's the, I don't know if they do release just the pure old stuff. They might do, it might be that posh one I'm thinking of that I can't remember the name of. But the two popular ones are Rodenbach and Rodenbach Grand Cru. Grand Cru is 33% young beer to 67% old beer. So it's mainly the old, so you really get the really winey, tart sourness out of it. It's a sour beer. I mean, you just look at my other review of the Grand Cru if you want to know more about that. And they mix the same beer to make this, only there's much more young beer in this. There's 75% of the young beer and only 25% of the old beer. So it'll be interesting to see what this is like. It's only a small 25cl bottle, 5.2% on the ABV as opposed to the 6% that the Grand Cru is. So 5.2 this is. Pretty cold. It recommends 6 to 8 degrees C, so it's probably more like 6, I would say. And it's a warm day, so yeah. Also in the shop, picked up a couple of cool glasses. I picked up a Samuel Smith pint glass and a funky looking Belgian, I guess, 33 centilitre glass, as quite a lot of them are. Belgians. I've never heard of that beer, nor I've ever had it, but I'm going to Belgium in September, so I'll try and find it, match the beer to the glass. I just thought it was a quirky shaped glass, that's why I've got it. Never heard of the beer. But we're going to use it for this one. You should really have a tulip glass for Rodenbach, but I did that with the Grand Cru, so I thought I'd use this one today. Get that cap straight off. Now you can quite easily screw your face up with the sourness with the Grand Cru, so it'll be interesting to see how much how more mellow this is. There goes a nice the bottle cap. Howdy. Oh, what's the matter, ready? What time was on the camera? Smells very similar. Smells slightly sweeter and fruitier. Maybe sort of more plummy or something. It certainly smells sweeter and fruitier than the other stuff. It's not bottle conditioned, so I'm just going to pour a bit in and swirl it round to get a nose. It looks virtually the same. It looks more carbonated. There's less of a head on it, and it's slightly lighter. It's more of a brandy colour. That. I think I'll pour it properly to get the colour on it because it's quite a thin glass at the bottom. Oh man, that smells lovely. It's almost like a brandy sort of smell to it, where it's more winey on the Grand Cru. This is more sort of a brandy sort of sweet smell. Definitely fruity, definitely dark fruits in there. It's not a very dark beer. It's definitely dark fruits in there. In fact, I would say quite often when you get dark fruits in your dark trappets and things, this has probably got more dark fruity notes about it than a lot of the trappets I've had. And it's a lighter beer. That smells lovely, that. Have a smell of that. Have it. Turn around and smell. She's trying to keep the dog calm. Time for that later. So you try and get the wife interested. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it's a bit of a brandy smell. Very. It's not very sharp. Not as sharp as I thought it would be. Definitely dark fruits in there, and quite sweet as well. Now, Be careful. Actually, this is only 25 centilitres in this bottle, and I think I'm only just going to get it all in here, so perhaps it's a 25 sail glass. Yeah, you can't get much more than that in there. Don't think that's 330. Anyway, there you go, there's the colour. It's not as deep red as the other one. There's definitely a deep red to it, but it's not as deep dark red as the Grand Cru, but it's very, very similar. If you stood them next to each other from a distance, you might not notice. The head looks virtually the same. Right. Again, I keep referring to the Grand Cru, you know, look back at it and you'll see what I mean. Alright folks, cheers. Right, that's interesting. For a start-up, it's easy to drink, but it's not very strong. It's 5.2, but still. I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's like a watered-down version of the Grand Cru, which is no surprise because it's the same beer, only there's more of the old stuff in there than the new stuff, and in this one there's more of the new stuff than the old stuff. I would say the Grand Cru is more quenching, with a sourness, but as a lighter drink, light fruitier drink, this is more refreshing. Fair bit of carbonation there. Quite a watery body in the mouthfeel. Doesn't taste watery, but you definitely get the sourness in the background, although it's not as sour as the older stuff, obviously. It's certainly not a screw your face up beer. You do get hints of sourness, a bit winey. A dry wine. A bit grapey, You don't really get the dark fruits in the taste. It's naturally carbonated, and it dances on your tongue a bit. It's rougher than the, if you like, than the Rodenbach Grand Cru. It's not as smooth, not as refined. It's refreshing. Excuse me. That's the best way I can describe it. Refreshing. You do want to serve it as cold as they recommend as well, I would say, because it's a refreshing beer. Sorry if you can hear the screaming kids outside. Doesn't happen very often, but it's happening now. It's dry. There's a bit of sweetness to start with, but it's quite a dry, fairly astringent finish. You know, when it dries your mouth out, you can feel it dry your tongue out. It coats your mouth well in that respect, and you can feel that. It's the dryness that's making it quenching. Yeah. A bit of burnt sugar in the background there as well. But yeah, it's fairly fruity. It's fruitier on the nose than it is on the smell, on the taste. Definitely a refreshing beer. Definitely worth checking out. If you want to ease yourself into these style of beers, have this one first and then have the Grand Cru, and then notice the difference. All in all, the Grand Cru is a better beer, but just something if you don't want to be challenged and you don't want to mull over it too much. You just want to sit back and relax with it. This is a very, very good alternative to the Grand Cru. Yeah, it's nice. Grapey, a little bit winey. Smells a bit like brandy. It's a bit fruity. It's nice and dry and quenching, and a bit sour. Okay, folks. Cheers. Good night.